The TRIZ 40 Inventive Principles. Genrich Altshuller, creator of the theory of inventive problem-solving, better known by its Russian acronym TRIZ, analyzed thousands of patents and identified a group of 40 techniques that inventors used successfully to solve problems across different fields. To inspire new inventors in their problem-solving, I created this video illustrating one of these principles. Principle 27. Cheap short-lived objects. Replace an expensive object with a multiple of inexpensive objects, compromising certain qualities, such as service life. For example, disposable syringe. Reusable metal and glass syringes are sterilized and reused between patients. Low-cost plastic single-use syringes eliminate the risk of injection from previous uses.
Welcome once again to That Was History. I'm your host Jeremy Payne, and I've got an interesting story for you today. To me, I wouldn't say that this is dear to my heart, but at the same time it's relevant in the line of work that I do as a first responder for my county. On a lot of the calls that we go on, I myself am not licensed to put in an IV, but on the way to the hospital, the EMT or paramedic will start a line. Now, if it wasn't for past inventors, this device that they use would not be as safe and sterile to use. So one day you might find yourself with an IV in your arm, but you won't ever give it a second thought where that needle has been or if it's sterile, because they usually come in a sealed plastic wrap that is undone right before the needle goes in your arm. Well, this wasn't always so. They didn't always have syringes and needles that could just be used on one patient and then disposed of. In simple terms, they would reuse them from patient to patient, just making sure to sterilize them. But wait just a minute, let me stop right there. I've seen way too many cop shows and such to know that when they look for blood and such at a crime scene, that there's always a trace of some kind of blood, even if it's been washed away. So what's to say that the needle they use on you was just sterilized but still had traces of the last patient's blood, and they had something that was contagious only by contact of bodily fluids or blood-to-blood contact? So what in the world was done to make sure that this didn't happen? Someone, well, Phil Brooks in particular, received a patent on April 9th of 1974 for the disposable syringe. Now this would mean that all those needles that are used would be completely sterile and, well, new when they came in contact with your skin and blood, and not one that was used on a previous patient. Another interesting fact about this invention is that it allowed for many kids to receive the polio vaccination. Since the syringes could be disposed of, there could be more produced and the vaccination delivered to many more people. So the next time, if there is a time when you come in contact with a needle, remember that it is because of this guy that you get a clean, brand new sterile needle and not one that's used on a different patient. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of That Was History. If you liked or were intrigued by the information in this episode, give us a thumbs up down below and also follow us on our social media sites, and we'll see you next time.
Share this video and add your examples of this inventive principle in the comments below. Cheap short-lived objects. Replace an expensive object with a multiple of inexpensive objects, compromising certain qualities, such as service life.